this whole interview.
Oh, Jack, don't tempt me. I'm a
Jack's that guy. I feel like he was always that guy who was just talking shit and trolling and teasing and
married woman, but I'll
poking the
leave
bear.
him.
Oh, don't
I'm
say
gonna leave
that.
right now.
Let's start at the beginning with how to start a
He's
conversation.
very charismatic too. That's one thing I noticed. His charisma, he just got it on command, I guess.
A big part of attraction is confidence, and you can show that confidence in the first 10 seconds of an interaction if you approach without hesitation.
So Weedy, how it feel doing numbers?
Hey, girl, what's up?
Hi, sweetie.
Hi.
Maybe I'll break this down one day. I feel like it's such a good clip. There's so much to learn from it. But yeah, I think approaching without hesitation for sure. I think that comes from confidence. Confidence comes from experience. And if you haven't been approaching, then or talking to human beings in general, yeah, you're gonna think it's weird and you're gonna be like, oh, I feel uncomfortable because this is something I'm not usually comfortable doing or I don't do at all. So this is just one of those things where it's reps. Alex or Mosey was saying something about, yeah, I got this person who has done 40,000 sales or something like that, and this person has 4 sales. It's like sales calls. Who's going to be better? The dude with more sales calls. Why? Because he's been through the experience. He knows what it's like. It's familiar to him. People who are hesitating, it's because they're not familiar with it. It's like this new, scary, intimidating monster that they think of it in their head. Like, oh my God, I don't know. Oh my God, talking to another human being? Holy shit. Type shit. So, honestly, facts. Honestly, experience. Like, you just have to approach anyone and everyone if you want to get this XP. It's like a skill. Like in Grand Theft Auto, you have the driving skill and the flying skill and like the fucking fighting skill and the strength skill. It's literally approach without hesitation. And I know some people are saying like the blackout method, like, oh, don't think, just go. Facts, don't think, just go, bro. Who the fuck cares what happens? And sometimes I see this with myself. I kind of think before talking to someone, oh, bro, just do it. Like the spontaneity of it, just do it. And then you'll be just fine. Because what is there to lose, really? Nothing. Nothing. You lost nothing. Some people will be talking, oh, I'm going to regret it if I don't do it. Or if I do it. Make up your mind.
Jack,
I know.
good to see you.
Most guys know they should approach without hesitating, but they get too nervous, or their mind goes blank and they can't think of anything to say. So you end up circling the venue a few times without talking to anyone, or glancing over a bunch of times before you approach, which sabotages your first impression. One thing that helps here is if you have an opening sentence you know you like. This isn't a constraint against being spontaneous, it's a backup plan in case your mind goes blank. Here are Jack's 2 favorite opening lines.
What's your best chat-up line?
Oh. Hi.
Was that it?
Undefeated.
It's that simple.
Hi.
It's that simple.
You know what else is undefeated? Hi, I'm Jack.
Of course, Jack has some big advantages over most people.
He does have big advantages over most people. He's fucking Jack Harlow. And unlike you, you're just like, oh, I'm some random dude. If you were Jack Harlow and you knew you were Jack Harlow, you're gonna be walking around like, I don't give a fuck. Like, if I was Leonardo DiCaprio, I'm Leonardo fucking DiCaprio. Of course I'm gonna walk around like I'm not giving a shit. And you have to, I mean, maybe this is, you have to make something of yourself to understand that you are someone who is like, oh, I am the shit too. Because I feel like if you don't have the self-confidence that you know you are like the G in your life, then yeah, you're not going to be thinking like this. So I'd say definitely it's an acquired thing. You have to know that you're the fucking big G in the room. Like, and you know when you know. This is like way down the path. If you're watching this video and you're like, ooh, how do I get to this point? It's way down the path. Just don't think that far. You're gonna get overwhelmed. 1 foot in front of the other, and then you'll get there. This is like, oh, how did fucking Jack Harlow become Jack Harlow. He didn't just become Jack Harlow one day. It was all the steps building up to Jack Harlow, which made him Jack Harlow. His decisions, I'm going to get out of my comfort zone and I'm going to do this. I'm going to become an artist and I'm going to go through the trials and tribulations, the years that you don't see because no one shows him, they only show him his success. That built his character. It's something that you build just like these GTA skills. You got to build them one at a time. That corny ass saying, one brick at a time. Exactly. Yeah, don't be that guy who just walks around like when like you make eye contact. I think that comes from you're just scared and a lack of experience and confidence. So honestly, that's kind of a more inner thing that you need to work on. Your inner confidence, and how you work on that is just doing shit right. Like, I'm confident that these videos are amazing. I'm confident in my ability to finish a workout because I know I'm good at that. Why do I know I'm good at that? Because I showed myself the last 3 years I've been doing it. So that's part of it. And peep game. One thing is, if you don't have anything to come up with, okay, one having like a line isn't bad, like a backup line. 2, the spontaneity is fine. Usually that spontaneity comes from an observational statement. So if you can't think of anything, the easiest thing is the mutual thing that you guys can connect on. So for example, if there's a song or something, or you talk about the song. Oh man, this song is fucking... I don't know how you like this music. This song is like some whack ass shit I've never heard before. Obviously don't say it in like, oh, I don't know how you like this. Like, you have to say it with charisma.
A rich famous celebrity, Saweetie even says she already knows who he is. But there is a riff on this line that anyone can use to start a conversation, especially at an event where it's possible you know a lot of people, like a house party or local bar. It's, hey, I don't think I've met you yet, I'm Jack, except say your name. Adding the phrase, I don't think I've met you yet, helps your approach feel more natural. It explains why you're introducing yourself so it feels less randomly creepy, and it implies that you're social and you know a lot of people at the venue, at least enough that they stand out to you as someone you haven't met yet. This is a super easy way to get in a conversation, but it won't magically make someone fall in love with you. In fact, even Saweetie doesn't initially show much interest, instead playfully making fun of Jack. Watch how he handles it.
Why are you shaking?
Am I?
Yeah, true. I agree with that. All that is like the foot in the door. And all that is, and whatever you do with it next is what you do with it. So you gotta, that's the first impression, but what happens after that is where you really gotta show your personality in like a short amount of time, so she understands like, oh, this is the type of guy that is actually, you know what, cool to talk to. The small snippets she judges you on. So for this example, she might know of him. Like, she might know of you at the house party because you've been socializing and you're like the life of the party. But then when she actually meets you...
Oh,
nobody's shaking. Nobody.
Show her who you are, who you actually are. And she will submit.
Shade room. Jack, step into the shade room.
So that brings us to habit number 2. If someone teases you, assume they're being playful and take it positively. Some people will hear this advice and think it will make them look weak, but it's actually having a defensive response that makes you look reactive and less attractive.
What's something that you really hate about a guy?
When I'm trying to go to the bathroom on 6th Street and they're like, hey, can I ask you a question?
You?
Same thing, we gotta go.
Well, y'all f***ing saw.
He would have looked more confident if he had been able to laugh along with her joke. Now, if they said...
That is true. You can't be salty. Like, even when some shorty throws shade at you like that, this is about reaction. Your reaction really sets the tone. Because someone can respond to you like that, like some snarky ass bitch. And your own reaction is how you set the tone. And he was like, he met her in the middle on the reaction, which made it like... And he could have just said, no, I'm not. He could have just trolled her. I'm not going to meet you in the middle and say some garbage, too, and be mad. I'm going to be like, I don't know what I would say. I would say in the moment, but I wouldn't be mad. I feel like number one thing for me being reactive. Being reactive. Don't do that. You gotta be unreactive to like all this like shade. Because if you're like, I guarantee you know someone who's just like, you make fun of them. You know what? I'm gonna use Aiden Ross. Aiden Ross, you say something to him, he's like, his reaction is like super, you know. So of course we're gonna make fun of you because we like seeing the reaction. And if you give someone no reaction, they're like, oh shit, he's not messing around.
Something truly offensive to you, then obviously you don't have to stay playful. But at that point, don't worry about being attractive to someone who's genuinely rude to you. Better to find someone else to talk to. Okay, so let's get a bit more specific. What does taking a tease positively actually look like? Here's an easy framework you can steal from Jack. Step 1, fake defensiveness. You say something defensive but with a big smile. This shows that you're actually unfazed. For example, watch how Jack reacts when someone says something that could have been offensive to a lot of rappers at his level.
Here we are, you're nominated tonight, but what I realized is, and I thought you had already won a Grammy before. You haven't. So what would it mean
Thanks
for you
for reminding me.
What would it mean for you though to win a Grammy tonight?
Talk some shit, like a little bit. It's like it's not a check, but it's like a tap on the shoulder or something. Like a little playful thing, a little playful vibe.
It could be a huge night for you. I mean, it's an honor to be nominated.
Yeah, it mean a lot. You know, maybe when I do this interview next year, you won't be able to say that, so I'll feel good.
Yeah, he's talking.
Step 2, you can play.
Exactly. It's all about, in improv, I only did like one class for this. In improv, it's called yes and. Whenever it says like some shit, the best thing to do is like play on with yes and. Like you add on in addition to what they're saying. So for this, it's like a little roast, but it's playful. It's not like disrespectful or rude. He could make it disrespectful and rude, but his reaction is what makes it playful. He smiles and he teases her and he shows him who's the big G. He's like, yeah, I know I don't got one, but next year I will. And he can add on to it. And when I do, I'm gonna, expect. And when I do, I'm gonna expect you to whatever. And he could go off of that.
Fully tease them back.
I like drama.
Yeah. Okay, you like drama.
Yeah, I'm messy.
I think I'm messy too.
Nah, I'm not messy, but thank you for admitting you are. I had to check.
Okay, we're about to be done because you don't call me out twice on this interview.
Called you out.
You called me
First
out.
thing that happened when I walked over here, you said, you don't have any Grammys.
Now he's pressing her. This is what happens when she fucks with him. He's gonna fuck with her 10 times harder. So now she knows that, oh, I better not mess with Jack. He's just gonna roast the shit out of me. Or if maybe she likes it and he's gonna play with it. So
I made it in a positive way.
This ties right into habit number 3, push-pull. Use a mix of teases and compliments. Push-pull makes conversation with you more fun because you're not predictable. Your teasing helps people get laughing and builds attraction, and your compliments make people feel good around you and show that your teasing doesn't mean you dislike them. For example, watch how Jack breaks the tension in that last conversation.
You've been nominated 3 times.
Yeah.
But you haven't won. It could be a huge night for you. 6 times. 3 times
this
tonight. Come on, 3 times
I'm
tonight.
just joking. You're good. You're great.
Thank you.
One thing some men struggle with is
but honestly, push-pull sounds so cringe. Oh my god. Like, I'm not gonna even. I understand that it's this method, but I hate calling it that. It's so cringe. It's easy to remember, yeah. Like push and pull. Like you push them away and then pull them back. But that's like a red pill term, I think. Someone, you can correct me, I don't mind. But push and pull, honestly, I would just, hey bro, you gotta hit her with the push and pull twice, and you gotta do the around the back and the alley-oop and dunk. So basically, simply, what that means is, in conversation, you want to make sure that you're having fun and you're giving like a little bit, like, oh, you're cool, while you roast them. Because look, if you like tease them and you talk shit like they were, and that's all you do, then she might think like, she might get the impression that, oh wow, maybe like I feel a little bit bad because I roasted him and he responded this way. So to prevent that, you provide feedback that is positive, like a good reaction. I'm not explaining that the best, but you provide feedback that reassures the person who you were just kind of teasing that you're good. You're both on good terms, kind of.
A woman in a way that's not creepy. It's much easier to give a compliment and not come off creepy if you give a compliment that you would give regardless of if you're attracted to the person or not.
Hello, Jack Harlow. How you doing?
Y'all know how to make a man smile, that's for sure.
Wow. You just brought a smile to my face, brother.
And note how these are all observational statements. In his head, I've gotten this recently. It's been like more developed, more prominent that I've noticed. In your head, you just have like observational statements. Like, that was really nice. I like how that person opened the door or hold the door for that person. All he's doing is verbally saying those thoughts that you have in your head. But most people just don't say them at all, and all they are thoughts, and that thoughts just fizzles away. So
You just warm my soul up.
If you give someone a compliment, especially a physical compliment, you want to say it like you aren't trying to get anything back for it. The vibe Jack gives off is that he's simply saying what he thinks is true without expecting anything in return for the compliment.
Is someone here though that you got your eye on?
Let me see.
I'm right here, Jack. Just kidding.
Don't get me wrong, you're beautiful. I just, I thought you meant somebody on this sheet y'all got right here.
Again, this is Health by his experience saying compliment.
Hold up. Don't miss that shit.
For the compliment.
Is someone here though that you got your eye on?
By her response where she said, look, I'm right here. This is trapping. I mentioned this in my text breakdown video. She knows what she wants to say, which her intention behind this is, oh, she's right here, me, to like shoot her shot. So how's she gonna set it up? Is there anyone here where you got your eye? Like, she's kind of baiting him, and I know he knows that she's gonna say that she wants him to say her. So that's why he's like, think of it like chess. If you're good at chess, you can see someone's move before they even make it. He's a chess master at the game of game. So,
Let me see.
he's trolling her right now. He's like, let me see. Because he's gonna like...
I'm right here.
And this could be, real quick, this could be he's not interested in her, so he's trying to like... He knows that she wants him to say her. So he's like diffusing it to like take the pressure off of him. That could be one thing. Another thing is he's just trolling her. But what he says is otherwise. She says, I'm right here, Jack.
Jack, just kidding.
Don't get me wrong, you're beautiful.
He doesn't say anything. And notice how she like pulls back a little bit.
I'm right here, Jack. Just kidding.
Silence. Or no, I guess that was instant, huh? So, I feel like guys do this a lot too. They say something, and then a chick, like, for example, oh, I don't like when you do that. And a girl looks at you like that, and the dude with no confidence, oh, I'm just kidding. And they get like all nervous. I feel like that's kind of different, but that kind of stems from that. Yeah, she could be in her mind walking on eggshells with him and like nervous, so she like, just kidding, as like a defense thing. Like she's defensive, like, oh, he didn't bite, so I don't want to get rejected. So it could be a lot of different things, but
Don't get me wrong, you're beautiful. I just, I thought you meant somebody on this sheet y'all got right here.
Again,
and that recovery was flawless.
this is Health by his experience saying compliments about people he doesn't have sexual interest in.
Can't even name who was on it.
DeJounte Murray was on there.
Oh my God.
Yeah, he's a good player.
Take that back.
Oh, nice.
Love me some DeJounte Murray. He's smooth as hell. He's like a jaguar. Love his body. Love how he moves, man.
This is the second time you've said that you love somebody's body.
What, you saying I'm showing too much love to
Really
people?
keeping it.
In your own life, if you want to practice this skill, make it easy for yourself and start with non-physical compliments. And don't force yourself to give compliments you don't mean just to practice. The practice is, when you do think of something positive about someone, share it with them. That ties closely to another thing that makes Jack attractive: honesty in situations where a lot of guys would lie.
So, what's your type?
My type? Dark hair.
You might think he's purposefully saying her opposite, but he said this in multiple interviews. It's just his truth. Also, did you notice that when he says it, he smiles? There's a playful self-amusement in saying something he knows isn't the answer most guys would give. That self-amusement is also attractive.
And it also kind of like eases, because let's say he says dark hair with a smile. Like, he knows that's not the answer she wanted to hear. And also he's being true to himself. So what he's going to do instead of dark hair, like some kind of releases pressure off of her in a way. That's the best way I could explain it.
Here's one more example.
What, like, is the most romantic thing you've done for someone?
Bought them a plane ticket?
Was it a private jet?
No.
Oh.
Back
Economy?
58C.
Beautiful women are used to guys who will say anything to try to get a date. So, ironically, you stand out when you don't seem like you're trying hard to impress them. In general, Jack gives off a cool
Yeah, and he's just being straight up. Whether he's trolling, like, I'm sure he's telling the truth, but on top of that, he's like kind of trolling with it. I forget where I heard this, but it was something along the lines of, "Oh, where are you taking me for our first date?" Depending on that chicken, depending on what type of game you have, you might be tempted to tease or like poke the bear and say McDonald's or something.
vibe because he isn't desperate for a romantic connection. You saw that in that earlier clip where the woman says, "I'm right here, Jack," and it's consistent in his interviews.
Okay, well, I hear that you got a song called Dua Lipa on the album.
Yeah, it's true.
Do you want to go on a date with her?
I'd be open-minded, you know. I just, you know what I really like to do with Dua Lipa?
Yeah.
Like a song.
And was that you shooting your shot at Saweetie?
That was me saying hello, but you can't say hello these days, I guess.
You could say hello, but you know it was a nice hello, like a real smooth hello.
I'm a nice person.
Okay. Would you ever shoot your shot at Saweetie?
Nah, that's a friend. That's a friend vibe.
Note.
I mean, there's so many different ways he could have said. He could have said like what he said on with the person that he just said, Dua Lipa. I'll be open with that. I mean, I don't know what his intentions are. Obviously, he went up and introduced himself to her, so I'm sure there's some sort of like, "Oh, what's she about?" You could have said something. You could have said something like, "Oh, maybe if her song beats my song, or something. If she hits the billboards too."
He doesn't say they aren't beautiful. He's not putting them down. He's just not instantly all in. If you show interest in dating someone just because they're attractive, it makes you less attractive. To be attractive, have standards beyond beauty. You'll be more interesting and you'll avoid relationships with people who aren't right for you. One thing that can help you have better dating standards is having other things in your life that you care about. In Jack's case, he's open to dating, but his top priority is music. It's his career and his passion, and he cares more about it than meeting women or partying.
Even when first class goes...
So should yours, for real. Focus on your purpose. Find your purpose.
But one, how do you celebrate?
Everybody was like, "Come on, like let's at least do champagne." And we went to the studio. Everyone in there took some champagne. I didn't drink, but I felt good. I'm just head down right now.
This isn't to say that in order to be attractive, you have to...
See, that's how it should be. Even if you get the dub, it's nice to celebrate a little bit, but never take your foot off the gas when you got that momentum. That's how people
only care about work. That's not a recipe for happiness. You want a balanced life with friends or family you care about and a career or hobbies you're passionate about. A life you're happy with even if you aren't dating. When you have other things you care about in your life, you won't be desperate to date just anyone, which ironically will make more people want to date you. The second thing that helps you create standards beyond beauty is having options. When you feel like someone is the only person that could possibly make you happy.
But then again, he's probably going to go into this, but then again, like, as long as you have standards and self-respect, having options, no matter, even if you're talking to one chick, your willingness to, if she doesn't meet your blueprint or your standards or whatever, to drop her, that's pretty good. Like that's like the more ideal way of it. Having options is I guess, more appealing to most people because they don't have like the inner self-respect where they're like, oh, she's the only girl I'm spending time with, and I'll just. But with options, then they have a more abundance mindset that kind of mirrors what it feels like to have that self-respect and standards with yourself. To, oh, if she doesn't meet these standards, I'm just going to drop her, even if she's the only girl I'm talking to. That's the same thing when you have options. Oh, I'm in abundance, so if this girl doesn't meet my standards, well, goodbye. I have many other more. And I'm sure self-respect and options go hand in hand, but I'm just saying independently, that's what they kind of look like. And obviously you can have both, but independently, that's kind of what they look like.
Or worse, perhaps the only person that could possibly like you, it's almost impossible for you to be attractive. If you feel you need them, you can't help but act needy. There are a lot of ways.
I don't necessarily agree with this one. Maybe he'll like explain, but just because you only have one chick doesn't mean you're gonna act needy. I've seen this in my earlier years that typically it trends to you being more needy because you only have one chick. But as you level up and have the self knowing that, okay, here are my standards, I'm not going to raise them, and I'm not going to act needy. I'm just going to be me, and I'm going to keep it P type shit. Then this doesn't apply to you. But this is like more intermediate type thing. You got to be a vet for this. You got to be like a prestige master with the shorties for this one to happen. I think you have achieved something when you don't act needy, even if you have 0 chicks. Even if you have 1 chick and she's acting up, stop acting up, or I'm not gonna hang out with you anymore. She acts up, okay, bye. Now I have 0 chicks, but you know what? 0 is better than 1 who takes away from my peace of mind and disrespects my vision.
Build a life with more dating options. You can work on your appearance, talents, social circles, social status, or career, just to name a few. But the fastest way I know of to build a life with options is to develop your charisma. Becoming world-class in most things takes years, sometimes decades. But with charisma, you can...
And this last part sounds like an ad, so I'm not going to play it. But, yeah, he's right. Work on your career, work on XYZ, work on your body, work on your physique. But if you have the sole intention, oh, I'm going to make more money so I can attract more higher quality women, I'm going to get the 10 out of 10 physique, I'm going to learn how to fight so I can impress her, you've already lost. You already lost. So, you gotta do it for yourself, and this is something that you have to grow and get. This isn't something that you're just gonna, mindset shift. I feel like there's a lot of small moments where your mind shifts slowly to the idea of, you know what, I've been doing this for women. Do I actually enjoy it? No, so stop doing it. Or, you know what, I'm doing this because I genuinely enjoy it, and I'm only gonna do things like that from now on that I like. Because you're selfish. You should be selfish with your time and the things that you do and the things that you learn. And anything else is an addition. Think of it, when you think of it as you do it for yourself and solely for yourself, not for your mom or your dad, but for yourself. And the bonus, the side effect of that is creating abundance and wealth for your family or attracting more women, then yeah, that's totally fine, because I feel like most things are like that. Pretty much everything is. I like working out because it makes me look at myself like the way I know I should be and my ideal version of myself looks like. So I'm achieving that. And not only that, it's a place for me to go away and be present, and it's very difficult for me. It's a challenge physically, and I like challenges daily. It's also very appealing for me to get like the feeling of pump and like listening to a podcast. I don't really listen to music anymore just because I like being present and being there in the moment and going through something difficult. And I like all the health aspects because it's like self-respect. I like my body. Now, this is more of the Italian Renaissance type vibe where all the statues are like, I forget what the word is, but they're like macho and very muscular. And I'm Italian as well, me being Italian. And just my vision is my ideal man, or the superior man in my mind, works out and looks good. And the side effect is to have an attractive body that other people like. I'm not gonna stop working out because you, oh, I don't like you. I don't give a shit. I'm doing it because of me. And if you like it, okay, that's an addition. I'm not gonna work out more because you say you like it or work out less. I'm gonna keep my own standard and I'm gonna do it. And when you say, oh, maybe someone says, oh, you have a nice body. Thank you. I know. Thank you. Not some selfish shit. It's fine to be selfish. Selfish isn't always a bad thing. So, that's pretty much it. We broke that video down. And now you know the 6 steps of how to get shorties. So I want you to implement at least one today so you've actually learned something. And until next time.